just, I mean, my whole life was in shambles.
The power of the wild California waves has been a magnet for surfers from all over the world. Tonight, one of the very best, Mark Foo, has died.
If you want to ride the ultimate wave, you have to be willing to pay the ultimate price. Mark Foo lived by these words, and on December 23, 1994, they came true. The legendary surfer paddled out at Mavericks, a dangerous break in Northern California. It would be his first and last wave there. This is the story of Mark Foo. He changed big wave surfing forever. He became surfing's first true businessman, and his death transformed how surfers approach the world's most dangerous waves. Mark Foo was born in 1958 in Singapore. His parents were Chinese photojournalists working for the U.S. government. His family moved to Hawaii when he was 10 years old.
Yeah, well, you know, like you said, I had moved from Paradise, Hawaii, and I'd started surfing, and you know how it is if you're a surfer or...
Unlike most pros who start as toddlers, Foo was a late bloomer. He didn't get serious about surfing until his teenage years. This makes his later achievements even more impressive. It wasn't natural talent that took Foo to the top. It was his determination. Being Asian American in the white-dominated surf world of the 1970s wasn't easy. After high school, Foo briefly attended the University of Hawaii. But the waves called louder than textbooks. By 1977, at just 19, he joined the professional surfing tour. His career would soon change the sport forever.
Tem o tamanho, viu, meu? Não tá 10 pés não, cara.
Foo quickly realized competitive surfing wasn't for him. Despite reaching the world's top 12, he wanted something more thrilling. By the early 1980s, he left competitions behind. Instead, he chased massive waves that most people would run from. In 1983, Foo first surfed Waimea Bay. This legendary North Shore break would become his testing ground. Working as a lifeguard, he gained deep knowledge of the ocean's moods. Foo's approach was different. While others relied on gut instinct, he was scientific. He kept detailed journals about wave conditions. He studied weather patterns. This methodical approach was revolutionary in a culture that valued raw courage over preparation. January 18, 1986, made Foo famous. That day at Waimea, he tried to ride a 60-foot wave. The wipeout was spectacular. He needed a helicopter rescue. Most surfers would have quit after such a close call. Not Foo. He documented his wipeout and sent it to every surf magazine. A legend was born from failure, not success. This showed what made Foo special, not just his courage on huge waves, but his understanding that the story mattered too. Foo wasn't just brave, he was smart about business. When most surfers lived paycheck to paycheck, he built a career. He hosted a TV show called H3O. He wrote for surf magazines. He built relationships with photographers. His North Shore hostel, Foo's Zoo, became famous among traveling surfers.
Welcome to our first episode of the new season of H3O Heavy Water Magazine.
Foo created his own surfboard line and products. He turned his passion into steady income without selling out. This wasn't just about money. It was about making a sustainable life in surfing. Mark invented the modern professional big wave surfer, says surf historian Matt Warshaw. The TV shows, magazine columns, product deals, he turned surfing into a business when everyone else was just scraping by. Not everyone liked this approach. In a culture that glorified broke beach bums, Foo's business sense raised eyebrows. But he was ahead of his time. Today's pro surfers follow his blueprint, balancing riding waves with business ventures. Foo's greatest rivalry was with Ken Bradshaw. Their clashes became legendary. It was Foo's calculated, media-friendly style versus Bradshaw's old-school approach. Their competition at Waimea Bay brought big wave surfing back into the spotlight. They pushed each other to ride bigger, more dangerous waves. Our rivalry was real, Bradshaw later said. Mark was calculated and media savvy. I was old school. We butted heads. But that rivalry pushed big wave surfing forward by years. Despite the public feud, there was respect between them. They knew their competition made both of them better.
Best trip of my life, team score. That's what we're calling ourselves now, team score. It really has opened my eyes to surfing. You know, it brought me back to where what surfing is supposed to be. The surf.
Friends described Foo as black and white in his relationships. He either liked you or he didn't. There was no middle ground. His sister Charlene remembered him as focused only on surfing. He didn't drive fast or climb mountains. Only surfing. Only surfing. What makes someone repeatedly risk death on giant waves? This question is key to understand. Foo's journals reveal deep thinking about why he surfed big waves. For him, it wasn't just sport, it was transcendence, a way to find perfect focus impossible in normal life. Some think Foo's Asian heritage influenced his philosophy. Eastern traditions often emphasize harmony with nature rather than conquering it. While Foo never directly connected his approach to his cultural background, the precision and respect he showed, the ocean reflects these values. The calculated risk is the only one worth taking, he once wrote. This wasn't just talk. It was his genuine belief that preparation could manage even the ocean's worst dangers. By 1994, Foo had conquered every major Hawaiian big wave spot. At 36, he was at his peak. But surfers always seek new challenges. That's when Mavericks caught his attention. This Northern California break was unlike anything in Hawaii. Its unique underwater geology created waves both beautiful and deadly. Mavericks isn't just big, it's designed to kill you, explains Jeff Clark, who surfed it alone for 15 years. The underwater terrain is unique. Deep channels suddenly become shallow reefs. Cold water saps your strength. It's geological forces at work, not just water.
Mark, what's so special about Hawaii? You know, the essence of Hawaiian surfing. What does it mean to you?
Well, to me now what it means is the fact that there's no limits. You know, you think that there's always that this is it. This is the ultimate. There's a final stop. Like you think that when you're starting off and you're in the whitewater, and you might think Velziland is going to be the ultimate. You know, and you're at Velziland, you're ready. You're thinking, boy, this is so challenging. I can't wait. I can move up to Sunset, you know. And then you get to Sunset and you kind of get that under control. And you think the next step up is Waimea. Then maybe a lot of people think that Waimea is the last stop. And that's as far as you can go. But now that after I surfed Waimea, now I'm starting to surf the outer reefs, you know. And there's a whole frontier of waves that haven't been ridden, and the capabilities of performance in big waves. And it's not even, you know, touched upon. So to me, the essence of it is that there's no limits here in Hawaii in surfing. It's always going to keep you inspired and keep you young, because you know there's so much more to still look forward to, no matter, you know, how accomplished you become.
In December 1994, an Alaskan storm sent a massive swell toward Mavericks. Tracking it from Hawaii, Foo made a split-second decision. He called fellow surfer Mike Parsons. "I'm coming over. This is the one." Foo flew overnight to California. He arrived tired but eager to face this new challenge. This was how he lived, all in, no hesitation, ready for whatever came. December 23, 1994 dawned cold and gray at Half Moon Bay. The waves were 18 to 20 feet. Big, but not massive by elite standards. For someone who had ridden 60-foot Waimea, these conditions seemed manageable. Foo paddled out with other big wave surfers, including Bradshaw and Parsons. Everything started normally. Then came Foo's wave, his first and last at Mavericks. The takeoff looked clean. Then a small mistake. The wipeout didn't seem particularly bad, but Mark Foo never resurfaced. For nearly 90 minutes, no one realized he was missing. Eventually, searchers found his body in Pillar Point Lagoon. He was still attached to his broken board by his leash. Medical examiner Dr. Mark Renneker believes Foo's leash became tangled in rocks underwater. This prevented him from reaching the surface before the next wave hit. The official causes of death: drowning and head trauma. First day at Mavericks. The irony was painful. The man who had survived Hawaii's worst monsters had fallen to a comparatively smaller wave in California. On December 30th, 1994, over 700 people gathered at Waimea Bay to say goodbye to Mark Foo. 150 surfers formed a circle in the water as his ashes returned to the ocean. This wasn't just an ending, it was the birth of his greatest legacy. "It was a wake-up call," says Shane Dorian. "If it could happen to Mark, it could happen to anyone."
Mark Foo is dead. No! They just pulled him out of the water. Oh, that's terrible. Nobody saw him. I didn't see him. I just know.
Foo's death revolutionized surfing safety. Quick-release leashes, inflation vests, jet ski rescue teams, and buddy systems all became standard practice. The very equipment that might have saved his life now protects today's big wave surfers. Beyond safety, Foo's business approach became the blueprint for professional surfing. His media savvy, once criticized, is now the industry standard. As one of few Asian American surfing icons, he quietly opened doors for greater diversity in the sport. His sister put it perfectly. I accepted him for who he was and what he lived for. 3 decades later, Foo's presence lives on in every massive swell. His innovations, safety protocols, and philosophy continue to influence the sport. His advice, "You'll get picked off if you just sit there," speaks to surfing and to life itself. We remember Mark not just for how he died, but for how he lived, fearlessly and on his own terms. If you enjoyed this video on Mark Foo's legacy, hit subscribe for more surfing histories and big wave stories. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts on his impact on the sport.